Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we got a few things to talk about here. We got a system we're going to keep an eye on that might become a tropical depression along the southeast coast. We also do have a widespread excessive heat that be going on across the central and eastern uh, United States, and we also have a little bit of severe weather to talk about as well. We're going to try to kind of get this video here, get this video done very quickly. So let's not try to waste any time, and let's take a look into the National Hurricane Center. And this is their 5-day graphical outlook here. We already have a tropical depression out there that just passed Bermuda. It's currently 35 miles per hour. At this time, it should not have no threat to land. I think the chances of a tropical storm is fairly low. Really, the only threat to land was Bermuda, and it just passed Bermuda, so really it doesn't have really much of a threat to land. And oh yeah, if you guys hear like any wind on the microphone, I have a fan blowing towards me since it's very hot up here upstairs in my room where I'm at. So yeah, apologies if you hear anything like that. And this is the system right here we got to watch for. It currently has a 40% chance of developing in the next 5 days here. As you can see here, as of right now, it's in the Gulf, but it's going to be crossing some land and then eventually getting into the southeast coast, pretty much the east coast here, and really the southeast and the northeast United States areas has the possibility uh, for this tropical system to, well, at least for it to land for pretty much the entire East Coast here. Put that in other words here. And that was by accident, but we've been having quite a few systems going on across the Eastern Pacific as well. I don't know what happened there. That should not even happen. Okay. It's not going to let me. Alright. But here, anyways, here's Tropical Depression 5 here. As you can see here, no threat to land, but it could still be a tropical storm here over in the next probably couple of days or so. There. Again, no threat to land, so there's some good news there. And let's take a look onto the system here. So let's kind of back up to where we are right now. So currently your system is just off from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida coastlines there. As we kind of continue on, you can see your swirl. Currently, we're over here around that time. We should not really see any significant impacts. It does indicate it will probably go over land later on Monday. You can see the swirl still there. It's actually in Georgia, and that could be a little bit of an MCV, which is a mesoscale vortex. And usually, when these things here get over the water, they can develop fairly quickly into a tropical system. And here is early Wednesday morning, currently in South Carolina, about to go over uh, for some ocean waters here. And as you can see, just south of Myrtle Beach, there is your low pressure system there. It kind of goes over some waters there late Wednesday night, and here into early Thursday morning. And things like kind of stay stationary there. We have a high pressure system. Your Bermuda high is right over here currently. So the direction of the system is going to be going, it's going to be going north. Um, with the place of the Bermuda high. So that's really going to be a big question of where the Bermuda high is going to be at. If it's going to be a strong Bermuda high, it might just stay on land, but it's a little bit weaker. It can go over waters, and that'll be something to really watch for. Seems like it gets back onto land again, kind of by Virginia Beach. Then kind of goes along the East Coast there through Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and here we go into later on Sunday. Still falling on the East Coast, but we have a trough starting to move in here around the same time frame. So something we would definitely have to watch here. GFS here. It's going to be hard to tell, but you see here uh, Friday evening. It's right over New York City. But as you see, a pretty similar solution here. But really, still the possibility is there for this system here that could become a tropical system. And so I made a map for you here, and it does need to be updated a little bit here. But this is the current forecast of right now. As of right now, I'm putting it as a 50-50 shot of developing here into a tropical depression. Here, if it does go over land, it won't do much of anything. All it will do is probably create some gusty winds and quite a bit of rain. That'd be the primary threat. It's going to be the rain. If it does go over water, that really brings up the chances for it. And I forgot to pull up here on my Twitter. Um, One of the people I follow does have a view of the European model of the chances of tropical depression. It's kind of a little too late now, but I'm going to see if we could try to find it very quickly here. Might take just a moment. It's just so many tweets here. It was from him, I believe. Doesn't look like it has it on here. Alright. I did find a map um, where it showed the probabilities for a European model of tropical depression. It's showing percentages, I believe it's 60 to 70% chance. So definitely something to watch there. And that's really it from the tropic side of things. Let's move on actually to the excessive heat here. That's going to be the second biggest story. So for your excessive heat, this is the 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. All these colors here, orange, red, and dark red, these are probabilities for excessive heat. And as you can tell, it takes up 2/3 of the United States here. Really, the only areas not involved is really across the northern Rockies and the northwestern United States. And, that's it. So, we can zoom in here. So, in this orange cover here, that's a slight risk for excessive heating. You can tell it's for a lot of people. Now, I do expect this to update because it has not been updated for 2 days now. So, expect this to change some. I will probably expect them to maybe take out the Northeast, but and even for portions of the East Coast. But we're gonna see about that. This red here, that's a moderate risk for excessive heat. In this dark red here, that's a high risk for excessive heat. And really, the moderate to high risk areas will be some of the really watch here. And as you can see here, it lasts for 6 days for some of these areas in here. The central United States, portions of the desert Southwest, and even portions into the Great Lakes, the Lower Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, parts of the Midwest, the Northern Plains, Central Plains, Southern Plains. I mean, this is happening to so many regions here for the possibility for excessive heat. And this is the moderate to high risk area. And those are the areas you have to really watch for. Now, looking into malls, as of right now, the better chance for excessive heat is going to be across the southern plains and even for the desert southwest. Those will be the areas where you can see, and excessive heat really means heat indexes, which is the combination of dew points and temperatures. So we could see heat index values in the high risk areas in the hundreds, and the moderate risk could be in the upper 90s, possibly some hundreds in some of those areas. So really something to watch here. And the slight risk is probably going to be more like low to mid 90s. So heat index values in the moderate to high risk territory is going to be it's not going to feel great outside. So that's the excessive heat side of things here. So let's move on to the severe weather. So let's kind of move back here to this graphic here. And so this is the area I'm really focused on for the possibility of severe weather. I just saw this on Twitter literally not too long ago, and they were showing from the GFS model showing pretty high probabilities for possibility for a severe weather outbreak across Illinois and Indiana. And that's from 6Z, which is the morning run. And now in the 12Z run, it doesn't really show that anymore, but it does have it shifted into some other regions here. But after looking to some other models, it's, kind of has a similar setup here. But it's not going to be as bad, So let's kind of move on to the 6Z GFS here to show you guys here. Kind of compare the two here. So I'm going to try not to get into too much detail with the severe weather since there's still some uncertainties out there. So here's the 11th here, and as you can see here, keep in mind, this just means it's favorable for supercells. This is the supercell composite here. And these areas here have some pretty high K values and not a lot of shear in the atmosphere. So, yeah, CAPE is going to be a big player on this here. And as you can see here, this is Sunday, July the 12th. And as you can see here, we got very high supercell composite values. Highs as a 22. Keep in mind, this is environment is favorable for supercells. And as you can see here, it's a really good setup. It is a pretty good setup. You do have some winds going on across different parts in the atmosphere. CAPE is extremely high, especially surface space, 6,700. The hodograph looks pretty good. The effective layer is basically maxed out, but don't worry. I'm warning you guys, it has changed some on, well, not some. It has shifted quite a bit with the area, but does still show some of these very similar numbers. As you can see here, even goes into the overnight hours, even into the lower Ohio Valley ridges like Kentucky, southern Indiana, portions of Ohio as well, maybe even southern Michigan or portions of Wisconsin. But this is a very interesting setup here. But if we look into precipitation, it doesn't really show much of anything. It really doesn't. So if we kind of move on to that time frame, as you can see here, not much happens. Most of your storm activity is actually a little bit further north. You also do have a couple cells in that region there where it's favorable for some supercells. Like a couple of these pop-up thunderstorms across southern Indiana into central Kentucky. Those could have a possibility for supercells. Even there's one popped up into Indiana. So there are still uncertainties with this here. And really, this is caused by a low pressure system that's been going across the north, and there's going to be a trough following behind it, and it will get deeper as it moves into the mid Atlantic region. And let's compare this to the new run, the 12Z. Let's actually look into the supercell composite first to show you guys how much it has shifted. It did shift, but into a different area. However, it still does show some of those numbers. So here you go. You can see what's a little bit different here. It's actually a little bit further west already. So it has shifted back to the west, and as you can see here, it has shifted a lot. It has, but you still got some of these very similar numbers, pretty far to the west, like in northern Missouri, eastern Kansas, eastern Nebraska, a good chunk of, well, a decent chunk of Iowa. And really in these areas in here are thunderstorms here. So, and with this type of setup here, you got a northwest flow going on here. So this is a setup here for a possibility for MCS, which is a Mexico convective system, which can create a lot of problems, like damaging winds, intense lightning, and a lot of rain, even for some large hail. Kind of like a derecho, just a little bit. They have some similarities to it. So really, for severe weather type setups like this, you really want to try to find the highest number. And as you can see here, it's still a pretty good hodograph here. We don't really have a CAPE, however, it's close to 6,000. Hodograph looks good again. Effective layer, STP was signed in. It's still maxed out, but again, not a lot of wind shear. About as low as a 14. So what's really leading to these high values is the CAPE. So keep in mind a combination with the supercell composite is CAPE and wind shear. If we have very high wind shear and very high K values, numbers here will just be maxed out. But Good news is we're not seeing that in the forecast, but that can lead to a lot of problems here. As you can see here, it even continues here. Maybe another area of storms, maybe another MCS, the lower Ohio Valley into the Tennessee Valley, the lower Mississippi Valley, and kind of moves south from there. And now this is the ensembles here at GFS here. And we're kind of looking to precipitation. As you can see here, we do have some thunderstorms earlier in time here and across the Midwest. And here's the 12th. So keep in mind, this is kind of averaged out in the models here together. So really higher the numbers, the more confidence it has, pretty much. So the better agreement, I should say, in other words. But as you can see here, not much thunder from this view here. It doesn't really seem that bad there, just like the GFS. So, but let's actually kind of move on to ensemble. Ensemble. I don't know where I got that from. Let's actually look into the max supercell composite probability. And as you can see here, you still got some very high numbers. And it really just sticks around in some of those areas in there. So definitely areas across the northern plains, the Midwest, and just southeast of that does have a chance for severe weather. And this is a pretty good setup for MCS's deregios because this is on a northwest flow. So, and typically when you have northwest flow, especially a little bit out ahead of it, you have some divergence, so it can lead to some pretty good thunderstorms out ahead of it. So, and that's really all I really got for you guys here. This is the ensemble here. This is why I don't really show because it's in really up to 20 members here, and they're all really gonna really this is basically 20 different models here. So you can tell here it kind of looks a little bit weird, but yeah. But anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put a comment section down below. I will answer your guys' questions. And I will have an update on this stuff here. If there's like really a major change in the forecast, I'll definitely make an update on that in the next video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.